right, welcome to Dark Wizard Gaming, another battle report. Today I have Gabe with Gabe of Thorn Studios joining me.
Hey, how you doing?
We're real lucky to have him. He has a beautiful Sylvan Elves army that just absolutely love. A lot of customizations on this. So we're running, for scenario, we're going to do Counterthrust, and we're doing secure target for the secondary objective, and we're running 5,000 points, and this is going to be our first game of version 1.3 since it just came out yesterday. So Gabe, tell us a little bit about your army.
So I'm running a Sylvan Elves army. I like to do a little bit of all-comers sort of army. Pretty standard type of army. Big block of Dryads. A little bit of shooting, some wild huntsmen in there, some treemen, and some blade masters. So a little bit of Great Eagle out in there for chaff, but nice, well-rounded army to take on anything that Mike tries to throw at me.
So what are you most concerned about today?
That big block of Iron Orcs. That's scaring me a lot.
Absolutely, and that's why I put them in there. So my list, the last battle report, I had a little bit of everything, a little shooting, wavering. It was just too scared of cannons, so I switched up for the Iron Orcs. Made a very combat-heavy Orc and Goblin list, so I'm really curious to see how that plays out today.
I think he's going to do well.
All right, well, let's get started. Good luck.
Right. Yeah, you too.
So let's go through the Orcs and Goblins lineup today. First, we've changed out the Iron Orc. He's now on foot, and he's going to be in a unit of Iron Orcs. He's the same build as last time with a 2-up armor save, 4-up ward save. The one additional is he now has where his unit gets a 5-up ward save against war machines. Not going to do a lot of good against the elves today, but I think it's going to be a good addition in the future. He also has a Bluffer's Helm, which makes everybody reroll successful wounds against him. He's coming with the Warg, and again, he's immune to psychology. Next, we'll move on to the BSB. He's exactly the same as last time, where we have a 5-up armor save. He has a shield for parry. He has the 18-inch leadership with the Crown of Cavern King, and he has a bow. Then moving on to my Goblin King on a Wolf Rider. He has a 2-up armor save and light lance, so he's just going to be a great chaff for me. And when we get to my level 4, or actually a Wizard Master with 4 spells, he has 2 Shrooms, he's going to be Witchcraft, and he has the Book, which gives him +3 to cast and dispel. And I can't leave home without my Scroll Caddy, so we have our 1 spell Wizard Apprentice with also with Witchcraft, and since he's a Cave Goblin like the other, he's going to have the 2 Mushrooms. Moving on to the core, with the big unit of Cave Goblins, I have 57. They have full command, and they took the banner to do a 3x march this game. They still have the shields, giving them parry, the nets, and they have 3 mad gets in the unit. And then I have a smaller unit of 20 Cave Goblins. They're going to be my Wizard Bunker. They have both Wizards and they have the BSB in there. They're sitting on bows, nets, and just 1 mad get. And they have a Champ and Musician only. And rounding out my core, I have a block of 14 Ed Bashers with full command. They do have the extra hand weapon. And then we'll go on to the special, where I have 2 of my Nashor Wrecking teams. Both of those I put on the left side. I think he's going to land an Eagle on one of them, but I was hoping to match those up against his Wild Riders and lessen the blow when they come in, like the missiles that they are. And then I'll have 5 of my Goblin Raiders with just a Musician. They're going to be my just my redirectors for those Wild Riders. My big unit of Iron Orcs I put on the right side to go up against his Dryads, but I'm not sure if that was the best decision or not, since, I don't know, those Wild Riders are kind of scaring me on the edge over there, so they may have to go over and help with that and the Treemen. But the Iron Orcs are full command, and they also have the AP1 banner on them. And rounding out the Orcs and Goblins, I never leave home without a Gargantula. He does not have any shooting, so he's just a plain Gargantula. And I also put him over on this side with the Wild Riders coming in. The ones without the Lances, I think he can take. The ones with the Lances, with 7 of them, I think he's a little scared of them. So we'll see how that goes. So that rounds out everything there. The deployment messed me up a little bit. This moving 18-inch thing definitely was interesting. We need to practice that before we go to tournaments. I think both Gabe and I learned a lot on how we would deploy on this one. The secondary objectives, having split like that's going to be also very interesting for both of us. I think I have a little better chance with my scoring units than him, but it's just going to depend on how those Wild Riders come in. So we'll turn it over to Gabe and see what he has in his list.
All right, well, starting off, we've got the Treefather Ancient, or in her case, the Tree Mother Ancient. She's my level 3 caster, and she's a master wizard. She's also kitted out with tree singing, because why would you ever come to a battle without tree singing as a wood elf? Next, we've got a Lord of the Forest, who I affectionately dub Psycho Pete. He is my forest prince. He's a shapeshifter, which gives him movement 9 and a 5-up ward save, in addition to all kinds of extra initiative and extra attacks. I mean, he comes out to initiative 10. He's got the giant sword and the helm of the Wild Hunt too, so he's striking at strength 7, and on the charge he's got 6 attacks. He's just a wrecking ball. Next, I've got a Dryad Matriarch, who is a level 1, but her real job is to give my big block of Dryads hatred, which is really handy when they're in the woods, because then they're also rolling 1s to wound. So hatred plus rerolling 1s to wound makes that a really, really deadly block of infantry. So the block of 30 Dryads is my one real heavy hitting close combat unit in this army. Aside from that, everything else is glass cannons, which brings me to my 2 Wild Huntsman units. I've got one of them that is 7 strong, and they have lances and the flaming standard, and one of them that is 6 strong. They've got extra hand weapons and no flaming standard. Their job is to chew apart infantry, pretty small, lighter units, and the flaming standard unit's job is to go after bigger, tougher armored units or monsters. Then I've got 11 blade dancers and 2 great eagles, and then 2 units of 10 sylvan archers. I've got an extra tree man whose job is really to take on big scary monsters and to assist my infantry in anything they can't handle. And I have 5 pathfinders who are really there to give some missile support with their multiple different types of arrows they can shoot. I think they've got 4 different types of arrows. They've got the true mark arrows, starlight shafts, perforating shafts, and the jewel weed shot. So that's quite an armory on a single model, and you can change up the shot every turn as long as the whole unit uses it. So that's my army, and look forward to seeing how it does. I don't have a battle standard bearer because my character points wouldn't allow it, so I'm interested to see whether that comes back to bite me in this game or not.
Orcs and Goblins turn 1 on movement. So I was hoping for one of my Nasher wrecking teams to roll in triple 6s and actually hit his Wild Huntsman, but they didn't. They both moved up. I kept my Spider and my Wolf Goblin back just a little bit. I didn't want to get them too close right away. I'm screening his Wild Huntsman, the big unit with lances, with my Wolf Riders. I didn't move up very far with my Ed Basher Feral Orc unit because I didn't really want them to get into the Wild Riders right away. I went ahead and just moved up the Iron Orcs as quick as possible. I know they don't look like Iron Orcs because they're actually regular Orcs, but while the models are being painted, these are going to be my Iron Orcs. And then my Goblins, they just moved up a little bit to take cover behind the wall and just hang out and see what happens over there with those Dryads. Let's move on to some magic. On the magic phase, I only rolled a 4 and didn't channel, and Gabe did channel. However, it went really well for me because I got both spells off. So the first thing I did was Deceptive Glamour on Psycho Pete, trying to make him hit not quite as well. And then I did Will-O-Wisp on the Wild Huntsman, giving them random movement. These cards in the pictures aren't going to be the right ones because version 1.3 just came out, but it will at least show us which spells went off. And then now Witchcraft has an attribute, which it didn't before. So I gave the Evil Eye to both the Ed Bashers and the Iron Orcs, just in case they want to both charge up next turn. For not having a shooty army, my shooting turned out really well. I took out 6 of his archers between my spider and my cave goblin bunker, so real happy with that. No combat, so we're moving on to Gabe's turn 1.
The charges did not all go as planned. Most of them hit home just fine, but Psycho Pete failed his charge. He needed a 5, he rolled a 4. So he didn't make it to the Savage Orcs, so he's kind of caught out in the open, facing the wrath of a Nasher wrecking team. So what I ended up doing was moving my Lancer Huntsman back so that they don't get charged by the spider. And then since my dual hand weapon huntsmen have random movement on them, I just moved them back and I rolled a 10, so they kind of got out of range of everything. And better to fight another day over here with my huntsman. I charged my tree man into his wolf riders so that he can get rid of them, just be rid of one more nuisance. And I'm pivoting all of my missile troops to try to get rid of the other Nasher wrecker team. And I landed an eagle on his other one to pop that one. I charged the Dryads into his Iron Orcs to go ahead and get that combat underway, because if I wait, then he's going to bring those Goblins in with the nets, which is going to bring me down to -1 strength and severely hurt my odds of winning that combat. What I'm hoping to do is bring the forest up so I get to reroll my 1s, and I've got a couple of spells that should be able to help me do that. And then on the far left, I've got my Blade Dancers coming up to hopefully get on the flank of these Goblins and do something over there, although I'm not entirely sure what at this point. Alright, so magic was surprisingly effective. I got Spirits of the Wood off, so my Dryads count as being in a forest, which means they're going to get their rerolls of 1. And then I miscast Irresistible, my Summer Growth on my archers, which got almost all of them back and ended up doing 1 wound on my caster. So I shot everything at the Nasher, but he's got 1 wound left on him. So unfortunately, he is still alive. Alright, so close combat was actually pretty uneventful. The big fight between the Dryads and the Iron Orcs produced relatively few casualties. I won by a few wounds, and we just pushed because the Iron Orcs are steadfast. The tree men, as expected, broke the wolf riders, and they ended up right in front of the Iron Orcs. And now we're moving on to Mike's turn 2.
So the movement phase for the Orcs and Goblins was way better than I should ever have the chance to hope for. The Nasher Wrecking Team went far enough to go through Psycho Pete and the Ancient Tree Man. He rolled an 11 for his hits on both of them, and then ended up killing both of them just by rolling through. So I feel really bad about how bad that went, but definitely opened up that side of the board. I didn't have any other charges because I was concerned about bringing the Cave Goblins into the Dryad Dryads and then getting flanked by the War Dancers on the side. The Spider just moved back a little bit so he wouldn't get charged by the Wild Huntsman over there on the corner. And then I did a reform with the Cave Goblins, moved them up, and I'm just trying to get to where if those War Dancers come in, they're at least going to be in the front, so I'd have some parry saves on those. So we'll see how that goes. And I also moved my Wolf Rider character up just a little bit so he can do some screening if those riders do come up. So let's move on to Magic and see how that goes. I rolled a 4 from Magic again, so at least that's one phase that isn't going great for me. On the Magic, he got rid of the -1 to hit on his Dryad unit, and then I got off the Raven's Wing to allow my Feral Orcs to fly over the other guys here and come in for a flank charge if he doesn't come in and stop them. So overall, I do feel pretty good about the Magic. Let's see how the shooting goes next turn. Shooting worked out all right for the Orcs and Goblins. The Madgets were released over here and just clipped the edge of the eagle. One of them went through the War Dancer unit. 2 of them didn't make it that far, but they are blocking the War Dancer, so it might be scary for him to come in. I'm not sure. We'll see how that goes. Over on the side with his archers, I did 4 wounds, which caused a panic check. He failed his panic check and then went through my Nasher Wrecking Team, so that went ahead and finished off that unit, but I did kill the Nasher Wrecking Team. And then shockingly, the Goblins on the Spider did 1 wound to his magician tree man. So overall pretty good there. We'll move on to combat and see how we hold up against the Dryads. We're pretty much just locked up in combat. I had 5 wounds on the Iron Orcs, and then I did 3 wounds to the Dryads. Unfortunately, with 4 attacks, I wasn't able to hit the wizard in there, so it still lived. I did pass my leadership check, so we're stuck in there. Moving on to Gabe's turn for movement.
Okay, so my movement phase, finally got my huntsmen out of the corner. They're starting to make their way toward the middle of the board to help out the Dryads, hopefully. And the Lancers are trying to get over toward the Spider. My Blade Dancers are still reeling from the Madgets and trying to not get clobbered from them again. And my archers are just trying to get in position to knock out a couple of the Madgets. So let's see how this goes. So Magic phase was no big deal. Got my Dryads, got Spirit of the Wood on them, so they're in the woods, and that was really about it. Got Oaken Throne off, which really just revived 1 wound on my caster. So shooting phase was completely uneventful. Nothing happened. And then close combat, I actually rolled really well, but he rolled his saves really, really well. So he ended up winning close combat, but I stuck around, so we continue the close combat.
As always, Orcs and Goblins are just crazy with all of their movements. So on the charges, first I went ahead and warged this turn. The Spider went into the Wild Riders in the woods. Then we charged with the Ed Bashers into the side of the Dryads. And the Cave Goblins went ahead and charged the Pathfinders?
Yeah.
So the charge of Pathfinders, they did 4 wounds on the stand and shoot. All the charges made it in. I got real lucky on the Spider because he barely made it in. And then on the random movements, I had 1 Fanatic hit another Fanatic, so he killed him. And then another Fanatic did go through the War Dancers and did 4 wounds on them. I went ahead and brought my Hero Wolf Rider up to screen so the mage can't come into the Spider. And then I brought my other Wolf Riders up to block so the other Wild Riders can't come into the back of the Ed Bashers if I'm still there in combat. And that was really it on the movements. I just left my wizard right where she was. Magic was pretty good for the Orcs and Goblins. I rolled 8 magic dice. First I got rid of his Oaken Throne. Then I was able to get Twisted Effigy off on his mage, so her spells are half range with her shooting. And I was also able to get off Deceptive Glamour, which is going to be -1 to hit on the Dryads. However, I did miscast on that. He let it go through, and I did 3 runes to my Cave Goblins on the miscast. I also used one of my Shrooms on that, which wasn't needed since I already rolled the overwhelming power. In the magic, I also decided to give my Evil Eye attribute, one to the Iron Orcs and one to the Ed Bashers. Moving on to shooting, I shot all of my shots into his archer unit. I got 1 wound on them, so not much on shooting, and now we're heading into the combat. So there's a pretty decent round of combat this turn for the Orcs and Goblins. Over on the right, the Cave Goblins were able to win combat on the Pathfinders, and they did run them down because I was Swift Stride. Over on the Dryad side, I was able to kill them down to 2, and they did run. The Ed Bashers did not catch them. They ran through the archers, but the Ed Bashers did run into his unit of archers, so we're in that combat next turn, and the Iron Orcs were able to pass their leadership to restrain, turn, and then face the rest of the battle. And then the Spider was pretty disappointing for the Orcs and Goblins. He actually took 3 wounds and only did 3 wounds, so it was an exact push combat because I charged, he had a banner, so we're going to be stuck in on that, and he's still frenzied. All right, Gabe's turn next.
Go ahead. All right, so I don't have a whole lot of movement to do at this point. My Dryads decided to not rally and just continue running off the board, but my Blade Dancers are making their way over to the objective, as was their intention all along. The Wild Riders are hitting the remnants of the Wolf Riders to wipe them out. And my Lancer Huntsmen are holding strong against the Spider. So hopefully they can tie him up for a little bit longer while my Treeman is taking out his Wolf Rider character. Aside from that, there's not a whole lot else going on. So let's see how long I can hold out. Got off Healing Waters in the magic phase on my Huntsman Lancers, so now they've got a 5-up regen, and we got the attribute off on my Treeman Ancient. Combat, my Huntsman got wiped out by the Spider and got pursued down. My other Huntsman killed his Wolf Riders and didn't manage to pursue into his savages. My Treeman overran his Wolf Rider hero, and that was about it. Oh yeah, his feral orcs killed by archers and overran.
Orcs and Goblin movement. So the Feral Orcs charged the Wild Huntsman, made it in with an auto. The Iron Orcs were 1 short of actually getting into his general. He needed an 8 and rolled a 7. So they stalled out just a little bit, just kind of moving across the board. I did go ahead and turn around the Bowman Cave Goblins with my wizards in there, and started moving those towards the War Dancers a little bit farther away from that Treeman. And I also turned around the other Cave Goblins that were almost off the board and moved them up to come in by the War Dancers. So hopefully they're not on the objective here in the next round or two. And the Mad Git rolled double 6s and blew himself up, so he's no longer in play. So Magic went extremely well for Orcs and Goblins. I actually feel horrible how this game's going. Gabe's dice are just miserable, and mine seem to be on fire. I rolled, got 3 spells off. I got the Wheel Turns and Deceptive Glamour on his Wild Huntsman, really affecting how much they're going to hit my Orc boys back there. And then I also got Will-O-Wisp off on his Blade Dancer, so they're going to be a random movement. And I went ahead and put 2 of my plus movements on my lads, the Iron Orcs, and I put 1 on my Cave Goblins that are with all the shooters with all of the characters. And I put 1 on the Cave Goblins with the bows that have all the characters for +1 movement. The lads are really on fire with their shooting too. I moved, so I only got the first 2 ranks, but they still ended up doing 3 wounds, and there's just 1 War Dancer left. So there is only 1 combat. We're going to go to the Ed Bashers and the Wild Huntsman. So my dice continue to be absolutely on fire, and unfortunately Gabe is just, his dice are horrible. He rolled 8 dice to wound and only 1 went through on a wound. So he ended up losing his entire unit of Wild Huntsmen. There's not much left on the board. We're just going to go ahead and call the game now. All right, well, a great game. You were a great sport. It was just a brutal, brutal dice game for you.
Yeah, it was horrible. The dice were just not on my side.
Yeah, every time you needed to roll high, you rolled low. Every time you needed to roll low,
yeah,
you rolled high. We ended up calling it. It's going to end up being a 20-0. There was no units left at the end.
Yeah, my general was really the last man standing, and she was just sort of standing in the middle of the board. That's about it.
And in true Orc and Goblin fashion, either they work really well or they really work poor. And unfortunately, I mean, every phase worked well for me. My shooting was over the top. My magic, my Nasher wrecking teams and fanatics were.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
The Nasher wrecking teams were just over the top. Those things, 11 hits every time.
Yeah, taking out an Ancient Tree Man and Psycho Pete, which was really, that was my MVP, and definitely that's what swung the game.
Oh yeah.
And what took it over.
I knew that the game was in trouble the moment the Psycho Pete failed his charge, and after that it was he was in a bad spot because I knew he was going to get hit with that wrecking team. I just had no idea it was going to do 11 hits to him, and then also go through and hit the Tree Man and everything else. But
yeah,
at that point it was looking really bad.
So the list, I changed it up a little bit without the waiver, and I really think there's a much stronger list. I don't have to worry about the shooting as much. Overall, I'm really shocked how well they did. I don't think I'll make any changes for the next time.
Yeah.
What do you think about your list? I know it was a rough game dice-wise, but
it's really hard to tell. Nothing that I wanted to happen happened. It's so hard to tell how well the list should perform just because of how atrociously the dice did, that I can't tell how it was supposed to perform. So I'm going to need to play a few more games with it just to see how well the list does, because I don't think I can really tell anything on how well it plays based off of this game.
Sure.
I've played this list, or a list very similar to it, plenty of times before and had a lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that it's a solid list. I can't really judge it based off of this game just because of how
absolutely
awful the dice were.
Well, I think I'm going to put the lads on the shelf for a couple of games, bring out either the Vamps, Ogres, maybe Dark Elves, something like that, and maybe we'll get a rematch on one of those.
Okay, yeah, I'll bring back the Elves and we'll see how well they do. The one thing that I'm the one big change that I have made is dropping a BSB on this list just because I can't fit it in for character points, and that's something that I might have to try to figure out. The second Tree Man is where all those points are, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to figure out where to fit in a battle standard or not.
I think the scroll is another one I would add, because that not having a scroll on 2 turns really hurts you.
Again, that's the character points.
Yeah.
So if I can figure out a way to put those points back in, because that's the list I'm used to playing, is having a battle standard and a scroll. Because like any good Warhammer player, I never leave home without a scroll.
Sure.
But it's a little change.
Well, good game.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing. Absolutely. All right. See you next week.
Thanks.
Yep. And stay tuned next week for I think we're gonna have some High Elves and Saurian Ancients play with Wesley and Karen. The Great Green Idol that I have a picture of here, he's not actually in this army. However, this is a custom sculpt that Gabe had done for his studio. He actually sells these as a kit that you can have your own custom Great Green Idol. It's one of the few 9th Age models that was built just for 9th Age. So I just wanted to show you what this looks like. And it is an amazing piece to the Orcs and Goblin army. Thanks for watching our Dark Wizard Gaming video. If you enjoyed this video, please use the subscribe and the like features here on YouTube. And then leave us any comments for anything that maybe you want to see different on the videos, any upcoming content, or anything else you'd like to see. So thanks a lot, and see you on the next video.